This is Midweek Politics with Dave Pakman.
Hey, welcome to the show. Really feels like it's been a while since we've actually done a new show, and we have been away. A couple weeks ago, we were broadcasting live from the America's Future Now conference in D.C., and I think it went really pretty well. Obviously, the inevitable technical difficulties, but I think it went well. And the last couple of weeks we've been away. I've been visiting family in Argentina. Lewis has been doing who knows what on a cruise boat. And honestly, I've never been on a cruise. I would be scared that if I get seasick on day 2, the entire trip is just ruined, you know?
Right. Lots of people have the patches behind the ear.
Oh, do they?
Prescription ones, yeah.
Now, you get sick on planes, but what about on boats?
Never on a boat.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, I have a bunch of different stories from Argentina. Argentina. Number one, the World Cup is going on. Were you able to watch the games on the boat?
Not on the boat, but on Bermuda, I did catch a couple games.
So obviously the games, Argentina's very into the World Cup, and it was pretty interesting to be able to actually watch the games there. And in typical Argentinian fashion, when I went to a huge like coffee shop, restaurant type place to watch a game, it's complete static on the TV. So essentially it was like listening to it on the radio. That type of thing is just constant there. It's not unexpected at all. And the other thing that was interesting is I'd be curious to get your take on this, Lewis, because you were recently in a couple of different European cities. We were walking around different neighborhoods there. My cousins would say to me, does this feel like a safe neighborhood? And I would say, yes or no or whatever. And usually I was completely wrong, at least according to them. And I don't know, there's something about when at the same time they mentioned when they were in New York, they were in what they thought were really safe neighborhoods, and they were actually in kind of less safe areas. I guess you kind of have to know the city in some way, the personality of the city. It's not just obvious what parts are safe or not, right?
Right. I can't remember ever being in a place in Europe in which I thought, whoa, I better turn around.
Yeah. It's interesting. The thing that is absolutely great about traveling to Argentina right now, it's not great for them necessarily, but if you're going with dollars or with euros, even more so, the food is incredibly inexpensive. I mean, you can go to an excellent restaurant and 4 adults, ordering drinks and appetizers and everything for about $45 to $50 US, which is pretty incredible. I mean, compared to what you would pay. What you would pay where we live is one thing, but what you would pay in a city like New York or a comparable size city it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Right, and in stark contrast to that, in Bermuda, in Hamilton, I paid $15 for a burger.
For terrible food, I'm sure.
No, it wasn't anything great.
It wasn't
great.
But
$15 for a burger and fries.
Right. Well, I did talk politics with some people there. The perception of Barack Obama among most of the people I talked to in Argentina was they are disillusioned. They believe in the U.S. that we are disillusioned. And I think a lot of people are. I mean, the Republicans were never behind Obama to start with, but I think many Democrats are disillusioned with Barack Obama. And I know that we hear a lot of progressive media outlets and blogs and so forth saying, hey, Obama's done a ton of stuff. But I think on the whole, it is accurate to say there are many who are disillusioned with Barack Obama. And the other thing that's always striking whenever I go there is liberal here. Somebody who's so-called liberal in the U.S. is really not considered liberal in much of South America. I mean, liberal there is what here would be, at least by Republicans, be a downright socialist. And that's just always interesting because we're liberal here, but there we would be considered, I don't know, Hillary Clinton-like, moderate. I guess, moderate, essentially, yeah. Okay, now I almost was, or rather no, I was involved in a mugging attempt. And
right, I tried to get information out of Dave about this beforehand, but he refused to tell me. He said, I'll tell you on the show.
Well, because we have such a tight schedule with multiple interviews today, I'm going to tell the story of the mugging on the bonus show. So if you are not a member of the show, you've got to get on our website, midweekpolitics.com, become a member, and by the time you hear this, you will be able to get the story of my mugging in Argentina. Fortunately, I was not physically hurt, but I will tell you how much money was stolen and just the whole thing. Also on the bonus show, someone we talked about on the show recently is demanding an apology from me. And I don't know whether an apology is warranted or not. We'll talk about who it is on the bonus show. And if the members believe that I should apologize, I will apologize. But if you want to know who it is that's calling for the apology and saying that they were very poorly treated on the show, it's not somebody I interviewed, but somebody we talked about. Tune in to the bonus show. What's going on in Iraq, Afghanistan? What's going on with Al-Qaeda? Well, we know that General Stanley McChrystal was fired/resigned, depending on which way you want to go about it. It was made clear he should resign or else he would be fired. He was been replaced with David Petraeus, who was confirmed today with flying colors. So David Petraeus is back. Now, what's interesting about this? Barack Obama has selected David Petraeus to replace McChrystal. Barack Obama was very critical of David Petraeus back when George W. Bush was president. Hey, no surprise. He's a politician. That happens all the time. We'll see what happens now in Afghanistan. And, I was talking with people on my trip and even since getting back, and people said, why are we in Afghanistan right now? I mean, why are we still there? And I don't know that I really have a good answer for them. I mean, in theory, it's because the people who planned 9/11 are Afghani. But that feels weaker and weaker, does it not? I mean, especially since we don't know if those people are still there. Do we really need a full-scale war to capture a handful of people? I don't know. I essentially don't have an answer. I'm not sure why we are there, and what I guess now is it the longest or one of the longest military engagements that the U.S. has been involved in? I don't know.
I don't know for sure, but I can tell you that every few months there will be a news story that pops up that we have captured some type of Al-Qaeda bigwig.
Well, yeah. We just heard, again, that we got the number 3 guy. Mm-hmm. The thing is, we always get the number 3 guy.
Right, you get the number 3 guy, and now there's another number 3 guy.
That's right.
You get the number 1 guy, there's another number 1 guy.
Well, no, we haven't. Number 1 would be Bin Laden, and number 2 is, I forget his name.
I doubt he's even alive at this point.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. How we've gotten the number 3 guy 10 times, it doesn't seem to be helping anything. And by the way, I don't remember if this is May or June. No, we're still in June, so it must be the May numbers. Depending on when you're hearing this show, we're still recording it in June. In May, there were more American military deaths in Afghanistan than during any other month since we started the engagement. So to me, it's not an indication that Barack Obama sending additional troops is helpful, or at least getting us to any kind of new level. I don't know. At least we got that number 3 guy again. He seems to be coming back to life, though. The number 3 guys are endless. It's an endless stream. Midweek Politics is made possible in part by CSR Wire, the corporate social responsibility newswire at csrwire.com, by DIF Design, specializing in custom business websites at difdesign.com, and by shentrition.com, provider of all-natural superfood and adaptogenic herbal blend at shentrition.com. To find out more about underwriting Midweek Politics, visit midweekpolitics.com.